The first one, and I'm not gonna steal the thunder, is from the town of Merrillville. As far as they want to update their stormwater master plan, it hasn't been updated, I believe, in 10 years. And so I'll let him speak the rest to it.
Share my screen.
No Mr. Lake tonight, huh?
No, unfortunately, Matt is not available, so I will be taking the reins here.
Why don't you state your name before you start
Sure.
there?
So my name is Darren Olson. I'm with Christopher Burke Engineering. Unfortunately, Matt Lake could not be here tonight, but we have worked closely with Matt on the original stormwater master plan. And so he had asked me to come here and talk about the update to it. Much like your commission is updating your watershed plan, the town of Merrillville produced a stormwater master plan for the whole town in 2014. And their goal is to update it as well. They're going to incorporate some new water quality data. And they're going to stick with, and I'll talk about a little bit about the existing plan, but they're going to stick with this modular concept where they look at different subwatersheds separately so they can pull those subwatersheds out and apply for grants very quickly. And the town has been very successful with that. All the data is housed, and the previous one and this current one will be housed in a geodatabase. So very easy to share with the commission, share with Lake County Surveyor's Office. And it has been a really effective platform for sharing drainage information from the previous reports with all stakeholders. Our request, the approximate cost is roughly $78,000. So the request as an engineering request is for 50% of that, which is $39,265. Just real briefly, the previous master plan came out of a lot of what we all remember from 2008. This is the cover page of that. And really what I'd like to talk just real briefly about is this concept of looking at each subwatershed individually, which is what we would be updating. And really it's the detailed engineering analysis that is going to be critical with new rainfall, with new information, primarily new development that has occurred in the town, as well as a lot of flood control projects that had previously been constructed. We want to incorporate that into the master plan and really see what's left to tackle. This is the western side of Merrillville, and we can see here the 9 different subwatersheds that were analyzed in detail. From Meadowdale Lateral all the way down to the northeast portion of Turkey Creek. These would be the ones that we would be analyzing again. We would be using similar models that we had before, again, looking at detailed hydrologic and hydraulic models, very similar to what you've been doing for your studies for the commission here. Looking at land use within each subwatershed, looking at things, such as, the revenue contribution from their stormwater utility, the wards. There's a stormwater quality component that we looked at in a lot of detail, looking at the hotspots from EPA and other websites and incorporating that. Using the models to delineate where flooding would occur, and then using those same models to come up with cost-effective flood control projects. And we really make an effort to break down the benefits for each one of these projects, whether it's roadway overtopping that is reduced, residential, commercial structures that are not protected, and then what's the cost of those flood control projects. Again, we look at each watershed and we analyze each one of these projects to come up with the most cost-effective project. And then we develop what's called this prioritization matrix that I'll show you here. This is an example of nice graphics of the GIS database that we have. There's in this database, there's water quality data, land use data, parcel topography, FEMA data. Again, all that is going to be updated now because in the last 10 or 15 years, the amount of data that's available, the methods that we're using to analyze that data with the hydrologic and hydraulic models have come light years in the past decade. And so we're going to be updating it updating these hydrologic and hydraulic models and this GIS database with this new information and new methodology. Again, coming back to developing new projects and coming up with cost estimates for those projects. Here's some small text here, but this is the prioritization matrix. And so we did a very logical order of for each one of these sub watersheds, how many homes are benefited, how large of this is in comparison to the overall area that we're looking at, everything down from number of structures protected, the repetitive loss structures, roadways that are protected, minor roadways, erodible, channels with erodible velocity. So we're entering all of this into the matrix and then looking at what is the cost to implement a project that will help provide benefits to all of these stakeholders. And that's really the goal of the previous watershed plan. I'll talk real briefly here about a couple of projects, but the previous watershed plan was really a launching pad for the town to implement several projects that have been very beneficial. And that's really the goal of this plan, is to come out of it projects that stream restoration, flood storage, conveyance improvements, all things that are improving the quality of life in the town. And so I'll scroll through a couple slides here. And these are 8 sample projects that have originated from the previous plan. And it's important to note that these consist of flood storage, which is usually the primary component of these projects, is flood storage, storm sewers, stream bank stabilization, and culverts that are providing flood protection and watershed benefit. The total storage added out here out in the town since that study is 83 acre feet, or 730 million gallons of floodwater storage have been added since 2014 based on the results of that 2014 master plan, which is why we feel so important to update it so we can then find more projects that are beneficial that can provide this type of storage in the watershed. So one of the first ones we did was the Taft Street Drainage Improvement Project. That was $2 million. Roughly 20 acre feet of storage by coordination with NDOT. That one. Another one was the Bon Air Lake culvert replacement project. That one was a smaller cost, lowering a culvert by creating a big bank in the buck there in storage, almost 9 acre feet of storage for that. Another project that I was involved with is the Meadowdale Lateral Flood Storage Project. We also did, as part of this, in coordination with the commission here, we did analyze the full upstream watershed and provided some additional work that could be done. But a tremendous amount of flood storage, 45 acre feet of flood storage that was all provided in wetland habitat out here. Again, something that was identified in the 2014 Stormwater Master Plan. Grand Boulevard Drainage Improvement Project. This was more of a stream bank stabilization project that came out of the Stormwater Master Plan. In Connecticut in 69th, this was to help protect a school in a neighborhood and to eliminate a lift station. It's involved primarily storm sewers. Iser Ditch East Tributary Flood Control Project, again, came directly out of the Stormwater Master Plan and primarily included reconstruction of culverts that we see here in that nice pretty picture. The Hickory Ridge, this is one that is currently, has completed design, has been bid out and starting construction. Hickory Ridge subdivision was hit really hard during the 2008 flood event. The main level was completely inundated with flooding. And so this is a project to provide additional flood storage as well as some pump station and drainage improvements to protect the condo complex. And finally, one here on the far west side of town, which involved primarily storm sewers and drain tile work. So with that, I know Matt, if you were here, would give a special thanks to the commission for all your support in the past. And look forward to teaming with you in the future for great drainage flood control projects. Thank you. With that, to answer any questions.
Sure. Thank you, Darren. Appreciate it. Anybody's got
Thank you for
questions?
allowing me to speak.
Start down here on the left.
Had one question.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Robert.
For the $39,000 roughly, the engineering study, what's the duration of that? How long would it be? before we See the deliverable, 1 year, you said?
It would be approximately 1 year.
1 year.
Thomas? You good?
Did I see 50 acre feet of storage? Where did I see that at? On the first or second slide somewhere, maybe?
Yes, so the one that, this is the Meadowdale lateral flood storage project. This is in the town, just south of 55th, I believe. Is actually three basins, two that are directly next to each other, and one that's off to the side. This is on the drainage way is Meadowdale lateral. And yes, that was 45 acre feet of flood storage.
Do you guys, this is sort of a arbitrary question. Do you sort of have any type of, here with Christopher Burke, maybe this is a Matt Lake question, like what the potential acre feet storage opportunity that might exist?
Is that further up north than that?
Right.
Yes. So we did study that, and there were areas, there's some vacant land, I believe at one point that was owned by maybe the school district that's further north of the town's limits. We had looked at a couple different alternatives for providing quite a bit of flood storage, many times this amount of flood storage up there. And I believe that is one of the things that Matt would like to do as part of this update is to really dive into that and to determine exactly how much benefit that would be and ways to team with other stakeholders to try to make that happen.
Seems like they addressed a lot north with Hickory and Meadowdale and if there's opportunity south, hopefully this study could contribute to that.
Yeah, I think Matt intends to fully look at, I'll go to the map here. So, Meadowdale lateral is up at the northern part of the town boundary, but I know Matt's intention is to not only look at there and a little bit north of the town boundary, but to also then, these other Kaiser Ditch. We saw projects there. He wants to look at Chapel Manor. I know there's a couple of projects that he'd like to do there. At Broadfield, there's been some work there with development that he wants to make sure gets incorporated into the master plan.
Okay. Great, thanks, dear.
Ron?
Oh,
good. Excellent. Thank you, Darren.
Thank you for having me.